A woman stands up for herself without knowing its possibilities. Without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Good morning. My name is Shantae Rice Brown, and I have the honor of serving as your Women's History Month co-chair. Women's History Month provides us all with the opportunity to research, write about, share stories, and raise awareness of diversity of women, the experiences women live, and the work that still remains to be done. Women empowerment is promoting women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and the right to influence social change for themselves and others. So today, we welcome you to join us in honoring women, our history, our processes, our progress, and our stories. So at this time, we will start by empowering women through poetry. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou will be performed by Kayla Brown, Oriel Young, Jada Dickerson, and Riley Briscoe.
You may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You may troll me in the very dirt and still like that star.
That's my sassiness obsession. Part of you said was gloom, because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. It's like moons and like suns with the certainty of time. It's like hopes of spring high. All right. You want to see me broken, validated and vulnerable. Shoulders falling like steel jumps on my soulful promise.
My haughtiness offended, don't you take it up or hard, cause I laugh like I've got gold mines hidden in my own neck. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your happiness, but still like air on my
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my God?
Out of the ups of history and shame,
I rise.
up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. That ocean, deep and moving, loving and swelling, I dare in the tide. Later nights, tear,
Into the daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise.
bringing the gifts my ancestors gave. I am the hope in this week of the slave. I rise.
I rise, I rise. Honoring women through unity. Asia and Tajane will be performing Girl Power. With every step I take, I feel a sense of power. A feeling that grows with every passing hour. I know that I'm strong, and I know that I can make a change. Nothing in this world can make me feel strange. I see the world coming, and I know it's not fair, but I have a voice, and I'm not sure it's fair. I speak to myself and others and make a difference too. And with every step I take, I recognize everything. The women who came before me paved the way. They showed me that I can be brave and fearless in what I say. They taught me that I'm capable of achieving all my dreams. That I can overcome all obstacles, no matter how extreme. So I stand with my head held high and never let anyone tell me that I am important and I'm strong. So with every step I take, I prove the world. So let's unite and stand up for what's right and let our voices be heard with all our might. We
She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science in 1997 and her Juris Doctorate from Minnesota University of Washington in 2000. She has been listed in the Who's Who of America and is the recipient of numerous awards and honors for her contributions to various organizations. Ms. Smithers currently serves as the Director of Community Programs in the Office of Women and Planning under the leadership of Representative John Evans. She has also operated a private law practice in Maryland, Louisiana for more than 20 years and focuses primarily on legal issues involving families and children. Ms. Celia Smithers served as the 25th South Central Regional Director of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated from 2016 to 2020. Ms. Celia Smithers is married to Dr. Roger L. Smithers Sr., the 14th president of Sanders Smith College and one of our country's acclaimed historical black universities located in Little Rock, Arkansas.
All right, good morning. Good morning, sunshine. I didn't hear this side. Hey, y'all. Good morning, good morning. First of all, let's give another round of applause to the young women who presented this morning. Ms. Shante Rice, I'm going to have a package to deliver to them next week because you all did such a wonderful job. So I'm going to have a little something special for you. I'll bring it here to the school, okay? All right, let me tell you, it takes a lot to get up before 10 o'clock in the morning. So I want you to do this for me while I'm opening up my little presentation. I want you to look to the person on your left and say, I belong here. I see some of y'all look to the right. I don't know what happened. Let's try that one more time. Look to the person on your left and say, I belong here. That's right. Now look to the person on your right and say, you belong here. All right. And then what I want you to scream back to me real quick is, empowered women empower others. All right, here we go. So let me first of all say I'm honored to be here with all of you this morning. Let me issue a special thank you to your principal, Mr. John Heyman, to the vice principal who peeked in this morning. I had a chance to get to see her. Good morning. I also want to give a shout out to my dear friend and my sorority sister, Ms. Shante Rice, for the special invitation to speak to all of you this morning. And I'm sorry I'm playing with this mic. I usually walk around without a mic, so I'm gonna do good this morning. I'm staying right here. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Because I'm here to deliver a message to you this morning. I'm not gonna take a lot of time this morning because I know y'all are anxious to get back to calculus and algebra. Are you sure? Okay. Let me take my time then. All right. March marks an historic event, Women's History Month. This is important because it highlights the achievements of women, both past, present, and future, who have helped and will help to build and mold our country. Most importantly, it reminds us to remember and pay reverence to all the leaders, the activists, and the pioneers who have worked hard to ensure women are recognized and that future generations, that is you, will be empowered. I want you to remember that word, empowered to have the courage and the willpower to walk in the footsteps of our ancestors and strive to be all that you can be. I want you to know, and I came here today to tell you, young women, juniors and seniors at Terra High School, that first of all, every single one of you belong here in this world to make a difference. You are here with purpose, you are here to serve, and guess what? It doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what your circumstances have been, it doesn't matter what you had to fight to get through to get where you are, you belong here to serve. I was thinking yesterday and in the past few days in preparing for the message I will share with you today, that oftentimes you'll hear throughout your life that it's important for you to get an education so that you can make a lot of money. This is true. It helps. It certainly helps. You will also hear that once you get a great job, you'll be able to buy that great big house and drive that Lexus, Porsche, Maserati, whatever your, what did you say? What kind of Tesla, whatever, you know. And it's true, that's gonna help. However, what I need you to know today, what I really need you to know is that all the things that your parents, your teacher, and your community are encouraging you to do is about more than just you. You see, the talent that you will gain by being here in school, your education, and your success will really be the benefit of it. What you are learning today will really be about uplifting others. How many of you want to be doctors? Anybody? Anybody want to be lawyers? Any future teachers? Any future engineers? Any future rap artists, songsters, music artists, authors? All of those things are going to be to the benefit of other people. They will be able to take your talent and use it to make themselves great. So let me tell you a little bit about my story, and then I'm going to leave you with 3 very important things that every young woman should know as you move forward. First of all, just to give you a little background, I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. My family was very poor, but I didn't know it. Didn't have a whole lot. My mom was a cook in a nursing home, and then she became a custodian, which is where she retired from. My mom, I talked about her, she just passed away in November of last year, and she was one of the hardest working women I knew. She set a wonderful example for me. My dad, who in all transparency was an alcoholic, my dad also had an issue with drugs and alcohol for most of my life, but when I was 16, my dad made a decision that he wanted to change his life. And so to do that, he decided that he would go into treatment in California. He spent a year in California getting treated, and then he moved our entire family to Clovis, California. Now, let me tell you a little bit of the difference about Clovis and Lake Charles. So I was in a high school in Lake Charles where probably 90% of the population were African American. When I moved to Clovis, California, African American students were 1% in the school I moved to. That means that for the 1,000 students, and I said 1,000 that graduated in my senior class, there were only 8 African American students. I went to one of the top high schools in the country when I got to California. And believe it or not, this was the first time going into my sophomore year that I actually had a conversation about college. I was assigned a counselor at this high school, Ms. Gutierrez, who 35 years later I still remember, and she asked me, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Now, I could answer that question because my dad, when I was 17 years old, set me down at a table and said, I want you to write out 10 things that you want to accomplish by the time you're 25. So I made up, he said, anything you want. If money were not an issue, if circumstances were not an issue, if your family and home life weren't an issue, what are the 10 things that you would want to do by the time you're 25? So he said, maybe the dreams could be as big as you want them to be. So I wrote down all kinds of stuff. Well, I want to be married. I want to have 10 children. That can happen. Say that right now. I want to be a lawyer. I want to go to law school. I want to drive a Mercedes. I want to, all kinds of stuff. And what my father believed, which is very true, is that if you write it down, if you say, this is what I want, if this is your intention, then it's going to happen. So you can imagine that by the time I got ready to graduate from high school, I had a meeting with the counselor to talk about colleges, but the one thing I knew for certain is that my parents couldn't afford to send me to college. Anybody know where Opelousas is? Yeah. My Aunt Eva called me at the start of my senior year in high school. And she said, if you want to go to college, if you go to my alma mater, which is Southern University, I will pay 4 years tuition. What a gift that was for me. So of course, without having many other options, I had one full scholarship to the University of Wisconsin, but my parents decided it was too cold in Wisconsin and I couldn't go to Wisconsin. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to Southern. I went to Southern for 4 years, and let me tell you, there is something about getting a gift from my aunt that made sense to me. So keep in mind, I was raised in a family that was poor. Dad was an alcoholic until I was 16 years old, where he then went to college, got his bachelor's degree, 2 master's degrees, all that. So the example was there. But then came to school because my aunt was so kind to pay for me to get a college education. And I tell people that the reason I was successful because I couldn't let her down. I knew that she put her name on me and I was going to do everything I could to respect the gift she gave me. Then when I graduated from college, I called her and said, you know, I really think I want to go to law school. And because I was so good with her first gift, her and my uncle said, you know what, if you want to go to law school, we'll help you with that too. So then I went to law school, became a lawyer, opened a practice with 3 of my best friends. Then in 2017 was appointed by Governor John Bel Edwards to serve as the executive director of the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund. And a year and a half ago was then promoted to the director of community programs. Now, why is all this important? Because I started from a place where most people don't survive that part. And when I say survive, I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about where all the odds were against me going to college. All the odds were against me being a lawyer. Didn't know how it was going to happen, but it's real funny how you make your intention known. I wrote it down, and then the world opened up and people stepped in to help. So that leads me to the first thing I want to tell you, which is start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can to succeed. There is no secret formula to success. Contrary to what you see on TV, the Kardashians have to work every single day. You don't have to have a certain set of circumstances to succeed. You don't have to come from a family with money. You don't have to have parents who are rich. These women you see sitting at the table today showed up for you because they want to be poured into your life. And there are so many more like us around. I have had the opportunity in my career to represent artists, musicians, record labels, party promoters, professional athletes, all of whom started with nothing more than a dream. I am not kidding you. I was thinking that I received a call the other day from a former client who used to play for the NBA. He called last week just to say hello and to let me know that he was having a summer basketball camp in Memphis for young students. There are so many reasons why this guy should have failed. Usual stories, not the perfect parents, raised on the wrong side of the tracks, got in trouble a lot as a teen. But in spite of all this, he was recruited to attend one of the Big Ten colleges on a basketball scholarship and became one of the top basketball players in the country. Was drafted by the NBA and is now making a choice every summer to give back to the same kids and the same communities that he was raised in. The irony of this story is that I have a little niece who is a rising basketball star, getting ready for her senior year. She's already being recruited by colleges. So I said to him, hey, got a niece. He said, you know what, why don't you let me fly her and her parents out here so that she can train with me during the summer. The important part of that story is you never know who you're gonna meet along the way that's gonna pour into your life. You have to grab a hold of every single opportunity that you can. Don't be scared. You can be scared and still get it done all at the same time, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I want you to know, so remember that. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Find the people that will help you get to the next level. The next thing I want to tell you is that, this is number 2, there is no shortcut to any place that is worth long. No shortcut. Everything that is worth anything comes with a price. And sometimes that price is your time. You are not wasting your time being in school every day, contrary to how you feel. I know it's early in the morning, you don't want to go to calculus, you don't want to be in algebra, but it's all for purpose. It is all building you up. It's helping you to think critically. You know, my little godchild who is in high school tells me, Nanny, calls me Nanny, Nanny, I'm not going to need that. I'm not going to need calculus. You may not need calculus, but you need the critical thinking that calculus teaches you. You're going to need to be able to learn how to work out problems that may not be numbers, may be people problems. You're going to need to be able to do that. Remember that shortcuts are often short-sighted. They distract you from getting from where you need to go. Let me tell you, you can't drive that new Lexus or Bentley without putting in the work. You can't build that huge home or treat your families to vacations unless you build the life you want brick by brick, and it starts right now. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to sit down because I want y'all to get back to class. If your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. If they don't scare you, then they're not big enough. My husband and I love to share this quote. So you heard my bio. My husband is the president of Philander Smith College in Little Rock, Arkansas. And that's important for all of you because any of you, and I'm going to say this in front of your vice principal today, I would love to come back with some recruiters from Philander Smith when you have a college day because we recruit and give scholarships to students all the time. For those of you that are interested. So Google Philander Smith College. I'm going to tell them a shameless plug. But I say this, we share this with our students there all the time. If your dreams don't scare you, they are not big enough. My sorority sister, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, coined this statement. She is from Liberia, and she was the first woman to be elected head of state of an African country. She was a 2011 Nobel Peace Prize winner for her nonviolent struggle for the safety of women and for the rights of women to fully participate in peace-building work. She was also listed as the 83rd most powerful woman in the world by Forbes magazine. Listen, this woman became president of a country that suffered through not one, but 2 civil wars. One of which caused her to flee Liberia to the United States. In spite of what must have been a fearful and uncertain time in her life, she took that experience, came to the U.S., got educated, grabbed her bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree, and then went back to Liberia armed with the opportunity and education she earned from the state and became president. Listen, let excellence be the word that defines your life. I always tell people we just don't do mediocre. I don't even know what that is. Show up. The judge and I were just having a discussion about folks showing up. Show up as who you are. When you get up and get dressed and put on your clothes in the morning, do your hair and put on your makeup, show up. When you show up in class and write your name on a sheet of paper to take a test, let excellence lead you. I tell everybody, my parents could not give me a lot, but they gave me my name. When you hear Katina, Simeon, Smothers, I want everyone to know what they're going to get, which is excellent work. I want them to know that when you hear Katina, Simeon, Smothers, you are going to get someone who is committed. I don't put my name on it if I can't be committed to it. I want you all to start doing that right now. If my name is on a test, it's going to be an A. Because it represents me, period, with a T. Period. Because it represents me. It represents my family. When I hit the mic, I tell people, get out of my way because it represents who I am. The same thing is for you all. You may not have got the Lexus at your 16th birthday. You may not live in a big mansion, but you don't have to. Set your dreams for yourself, and every time you say your name, let it mean something. In closing, I will say to you what I started with. Empowered women empower others. If one of you fails, all of you fail. If you are in a class where you see that there is another student that is having problems, if you are in gym and you see that someone is struggling, stop and offer help. You never know what that student has had to go through to get where they are today. The only thing free in life that makes any sense is kindness. It doesn't cost you a penny to be kind to someone else. You don't have to pull money out of your pocket to be kind. It doesn't cost you anything to say good morning. It doesn't cost you anything to come in with a smile on your face, even if you don't want to have one. It's free. Remember, what did we start with? Can you repeat it with me? Empowered women empower others. I don't hear you. Empowered women empower others. Is that on your name? Say that one more time. Empowered women empower others. Thank you so much. It's been my honor to be here with you this morning.
From the faculty, students, and staff, we would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your story with us. We all can walk away today empowered by your message. Thank you.
Students, just to let you know, when the bell rings, you're going to stay with us, and we'll get you to lunch, I promise. But we're going to stay and make sure we finish the program.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to take the time to thank all of our distinguished guests, and we really appreciate you. We're so happy that you took the time out of your busy day to visit with us. Ms. Katrina, Cynthia, and some others, thank you so much. We really appreciate what you said. You're an attorney, community advocate, motivational speaker, and I can tell you're a motivational speaker. You motivated me. You're currently serving as the Director of Programs in the Office of Governor John Bell Edwards in the capacity, and also supervise 12 departments within the Governor's office. We want to thank you so much for your time. Honorable Judge Erica L. Green. Can you raise your hand? This is Judge Erica L. Green. Judge Green was elected to the Family Court of East Baton Parish Division B in November 2021. Prior to being elected, Judge Green was a solo practitioner at her law firm, Law Office of Erica Green, LLC, handling estate cases, family, and civil matters. Thank you so much for being here. We want to welcome Dr. Tia T. Mills. Dr. Mills has been serving in education for over 16 years. She's currently serving as the state president of the Louisiana Association of Educators, the youngest to serve in the history of the association. She's also an adjunct professor at the Southern University. Thank you. Miss Yolanda Burnett Langford. And I just have to say, this is Mr. Burnett's sister. We love him at Tara, and we're so happy to have him here. But this is about you. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. You're an internationally published author. And the book is a novel entitled Eve of the Light. Ms. Yolanda has also been an educator for over 20 years, serving as an English teacher and 13 years as an administrator. You've been an English teacher for 18 years and now serving as an administrator for the past 8 years. Thank you so much for being with us. And Ms. Patricia Ford Anderson currently serves as an early childhood curriculum coordinator and district test and accountability coordinator. During her 26-year career, she has served as an elementary teacher for the Louisiana Department of Education mentor teacher, links content leader, math specialist, assistant principal, and interim principal. Thank you so much for being with us. And last, but definitely not least, Ms. Brooke Abear. Is Abear? Because I'm from New Orleans, we say Abear. Yeah. Thank you. Ms. Abear worked as an investigator for the Louisiana Attorney Discriminatory Board for 9 years before becoming a trooper in August 2015. She began her career at the Louisiana State Police Troop A. We want to thank all of our guests and thank you so much for being here. We have a small panel right now. We're going to ask some questions. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to ask the first table first, and then we'll ask the second table the questions. The first question is the table on the left. How do you empower yourself and the women around you? Anyone that would like to take that question, we would love to hear from you. How do you empower yourself and the women around you? Because as you know, everybody's looking at you. Whenever you're in a position of authority, they're looking at you. So how do you empower yourself as well as the women around you?
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm one of those persons that do meditation and listen to podcasts. I watch TV, but I probably listen to more podcasts, different types of, as you guys can call them influencers. But I listen to strategic influencers, those that are in my career path, those that are talking about leadership and things like that. But I believe that to empower women, for me to outpour into them, I have learned that you have to set yourself with some mentors, whether it's a professional mentor. Everyone thinks the only mentor you have is somebody that's either your field. I believe you have a professional mentor, but I also think that you have peer mentors, those people that are in your same age group or in your same, we call them colleagues and things of that nature. And then I think you should have a spiritual mentor. You have all these people around you. They can be, I prefer for mine to be women. Men have different types of leadership styles. And so if you connect yourself with those different levels of people, especially mentors in different areas of your life, I think you will stay empowered. You can't do it alone, right? You cannot do it alone, and you need to be poured into. So the thing that Ms. Simeon stated earlier, we're trying to pour into you guys, but you have to, in order to stay empowered, you have to be poured into. So you have to connect with people that can pour into you. It's going to really be hard for you to serve in the community, or even serve yourself.
Excellent. I'd like to add to Judge Green's statement. One very important thing, as women, we usually stretch ourselves very thin by caring for others around us, taking care of our friends, our families, things like that. But you have to take care of yourself first. And oftentimes we feel like that has to be earned, or I have to do a certain amount before I can take a break and see about myself. If you are not full, your cup is not full, you cannot pour into others. And when we pour into ourselves, then we get the energy and the tenacity to go forth and do for others and make a difference in our communities, in our families, and with those around us. So a big piece I want everyone to take away is just pour into yourself. Read things that you enjoy. I mean, I'm an author, a former English teacher, so I'm always advocating for reading. And I like podcasts, and I know you all do as well, but it's still something special about picking up a book. Whether you want it on your phone, an electronic book, or read things that empower you. Try to read something every day that's positive. Whatever that means, not just what you see on Instagram or Twitter, but actually pick up something and read something that can pour into you, a positive intent for you. Do it in the morning so that you set that intent to go forth in your day. And then you share those things, you share that energy with other people, particularly other females, because we have to take care of each other. You have to know your own power, because there is great power within every single woman walking this planet. So own your power, take care of yourself, and then pour that into others, and that is empowering for those around you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mangler. We appreciate that. The next question will be posed to the table on my right. What advice would you give to our teen girls today?
Just as Katina Simeon's mother mentioned earlier, to take advantage of every opportunity possible. You all have so many things that come before you that you should take advantage of that we definitely didn't have when we were coming up through school. And what I've told some of my friends is that if you don't take the opportunity, rest and believe that somebody else will. So if you don't take the opportunity, and I get it that some of you may have some anxiety and you're scared about taking on something new that you're not really aware of, but when you decide to decline on that opportunity, there's always going to have someone waiting in the wing to take on that task. I have some really good friends of mine, and I really appreciate the fact that they pour into me because they're not judgmental. They have absolutely no idea of what my actual job really is. So being a union leader, it's male dominated. It's not very many people who even look like me as you get closer and closer to the top, such as the top, I mean, like the state president's role, the executive role, those types of positions. And so a lot of people who look like me are not in the picture. They're just not. They're not people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. Just know that the people that you are interacting with on a consistent basis, depending on the profession that you go in, are not going to necessarily look like you. And you have to be prepared for that. And receiving opportunities or giving opportunities, the individual who's giving them has to be intentional. They'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of things, but unless they put their actions where their words are, to me, that the words mean, I mean, I'm not gonna say that they don't mean anything, but the actions speak louder than words.
Excellent.
One of the things that I heard in common from everyone who spoke would be the advice that I'm going to give you is find a community of people who pour into you. People who want nothing from you. People who are there just to benefit your life and motivate you spiritually, emotionally. You need that in your life. So find people, whether it be peers or people who are older. For myself personally, it was my grandmother and my aunt, strong, beautiful women who poured into my life and wanted nothing in return. And that is one piece of advice that I would encourage you all to do. Find a community of people who are willing to advance your life and who want nothing from you.
Thank you very much. The next question is going to be posed to the table on our left, but I would like Ms. Brooks A here to respond, because we didn't get a chance to respond. And the question is, what makes you a strong woman? What fulfills you?
I would have to say, my family made me stronger. I grew up in Baltimore, really strong. And growing up, I was always an athlete. I played basketball, had a basketball scholarship, I had a softball scholarship, javelin, track. My parents were in education. My dad worked in the oil field. It was
never about if I'm going to college, where I was going to college. So they made sure I was set up from the beginning with an opportunity to get educated. And, which has really led me to using my gifts, I would say, my athleticism, just my voice to be a person of passion when I deal with others, to kind of put that together and build a career in law enforcement. If you looked at me right now today, I'm wearing a half quarter zip and 5'11". But if you saw me every day on the job, I work with hottest in New Orleans. So I work for the lower ninth ward, and I work dominantly in New Orleans, where there's carjacking every day. Fentanyl overdose. You name it, it's out there. It's kind of a grim world sometimes when you look around. But what I've taken from the beginning when my mom said, if someone doesn't like you, just kill them with kindness, you grow from that. And having a voice, being, maybe 40 years on the stage with, 1,100 men and years and female voices. You have to go out there every day and just be yourself. Even if you are female, even if you can't handle the workload. 2 days ago, I worked 18-hour shift. I had search warrants at the end of the day. We had drug arrests. We were out there, we were doing our job. Sometimes when you look around, you see the news and it's publicized or there's really not a good life going on. So as a trooper, I'm a person to the voice. All I can say is go out there every day, put your outfit on, get your radio on, get your makeup out, be kind to people, love one another, respect one another, do your job. And at the end of the day, they'll know who you are just by what you do. Be by example, show them with kindness, be your back and use your voice, and just do your job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, the next question, will be from the table on my right. This question says, have you ever dealt with discrimination in the workplace?
I actually have, and it wasn't from any coworkers. It was actually when I was an assistant principal, and it was from a parent. I dealt with it from parents on 2 occasions. And you know how you I'm usually a very calm, even keel person, but dealing with those 2 situations brought a monster out of me that I knew was there, but I was able to maintain and calm myself. But yes, those are situations in life that you will have to deal with discrimination. And hopefully some of you will handle it a little bit better than I did. I forgot that I was a professional. But yeah, and after you think about it and reflect, it does hurt you. Because there are people who choose to dislike you or treat you differently because of the color of your skin or that you're a woman. Nothing that you did hurt you.
And I can be brief with my experiences. One was when I had just obtained my master's degree and I was beginning to pursue teaching opportunities at different colleges. And one place in particular I went to, the individual who was questioning me was not even the administrator, the dean for that college. It was asking me about my credentials and telling me what I needed to have in order to be able to teach there. And I was very aware of what I needed to have in order to teach there because I made sure that I got it before I came there. So that was the first thing, and that was because of my age. And I knew that because I think I was like 22, 23 years old when I got my master's. And I had to have 18 graduate hours beyond in a certain content area in order to teach there. So I knew I was aware of that. When I received my terminal degree, my doctoral degree, I was 32 years old, and I had an administrator to tell me that she was not going to address me as Dr. Mills, despite the fact that I just received my terminal degree, but there was only one other person on the campus, and we were not of the same skin color, and she addressed that person as Dr. such and such and not me. And I indicated to her that, you may not want to address me as such, but that is the only thing that I'm going to answer to you. And I made that known, as well, and then, finally, my ascension to becoming president of LAE. So with me being the youngest, just know that, there was definitely a lot of pushback from the old guard. You did not want to see, I guess someone that was half their age become, the leader of the association. But, I ended up winning with 80% of the vote, so obviously, the membership wanted us to change.
Excellent, thank you so much. Okay, the next question. And I know we talked about, standing in solidarity quite a lot this morning. So this question is, how can women stand in solidarity with each other? And in order for us to be successful, that's something that we will have to do.
That is one of the most difficult points that you will face as young women, standing in solidarity with other women. Oftentimes, society teaches us that we should be in competition with each other. Oftentimes, society tells us that if there is one woman in a certain position, in a certain organization, that's enough. But we must support each other. I noticed on the back of your program, one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. She says, each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing, possibly without claiming, she stands up for all women. So my advice is to always remember that you are one of the few, usually in most things that you do. So don't look at other women who are trying to ascend or who are trying to learn from you as competition. Instead, look at them as your sister. It doesn't matter what color their skin is. It doesn't matter their sexual orientation, what they identify as. That's a sister. And we have to look out for each other because you better bet your bottom dollar that men look out for each other. And they will work hard to look out for each other because they understand something, that competition is not the name of the game. It's getting the right people around you, putting yourself in the right areas, in the right circles. So don't look at your sisters as competition. Look at them as people that are part of your village, that can help build you up, and can help build them up. When I was a teacher, a man gave me a backhanded compliment. He said, you're so intelligent. You're such a hard worker. You organize things like no one I've ever seen. If you were a man, you'd be a principal by now. But he thought it was a compliment. But that wasn't. So I used that as some fuel to my fire to show him that I am female. I am a woman, and I'm proud of that. Because women think critically, we think deeper, and usually we outwork them. And we have to accomplish things. So much for that, that's my experience.
We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for this point. Thank you. Okay, the next question. I'm sorry, did you want to comment on? How do you actively communicate with women at your workplace and make them feel included? This is for the table on the left. How do you actively communicate with women at your workplace and make them feel included?
I actively engage with them by making sure that I send personal messages to them, make phone calls to them, ask them for a one-on-one time if available, and being intentional about making sure that they are included in different spaces and places. So again, we talk about mentorship all the time. There's also something that's called sponsorship. Mentorship is somebody that is constantly encouraging you, motivating you to move forward. But sponsorship is a person that's going to actually put you in a position, and in some cases, the person will replace themselves to ensure that you are in that space. That's just how crucial that particular thing is in terms of when I speak about that. And I just feel compelled to mention this also. I know that you all interact with different young ladies on the campus that you're on right now. And Tara, but guess what? There are women out there, young ladies, same age as you, who are at other schools across this city, across this state, across this country. And it's important that you engage with as many of them as possible, because you never know. You never know when an opportunity will come when you have to work with that person, or if that person is in a position to elevate you. That is extremely important to have that. I mean, I don't know about the issues that have been transpiring in different schools. I've been saying it. As an educator, it's my job, and as an advocate, and as a leader, it is my duty to make sure that I stay on top of the issues. And my biggest concern is that one day, that some of you will end up in the professional world, and a person from another school remembers an issue that may have transpired 5 or 6 years ago, right? We don't want that to be the narrative. We want to be able to bridge that gap, because we have to be individuals who are safeguarding each other, taking care of one another. That's extremely important.
Thank you so much. I can hear the passion in your voices and the knowledge that you've given us today. We want to thank everyone on the panel. Ms. Mitchell will come up and close the program, and we cannot thank you enough for the support that you've given us today. Thank you.
Thank you first to our students for being good listeners. Thank you for staying when the bell rang, as I asked. Thank you so much to everyone on the panel. Whether you had a chance to answer one question or 3 questions, it was very important that you showed up for us today. So thank you very much again for being here. Any woman who chooses to behave like a full human being should be warned that the armies of the status quo will treat her as something of a dirty joke. That's their natural and first weapon. She will need her sisterhood. My mother passed when I was 10. If not for my sisterhood, I can't tell you where I'd be today. Ms. Latricia Ford Anderson, you were at the first school I ever taught at, so I have to say thank you so much for being a part of that first community that I worked in. Dr. Tia Mills, Educational Leadership Program together. Thank you for always being a supporter of everything in education for all of us. And thank you again to everyone for being here today. I do like to be punctual, so that's why we're going to go ahead and release our students so that they can go eat before they become unruly. So students, you may go, but let's get around the